Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Yes, finally saw it. And after a string of disappointments from Tim Burton in his career recently, I only had one question on my mind when I was going to go see Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Is Tim Burton ever going to get his mojo back, or has he just lost it completely? I answered that in this video.
That thing from my dream.
Really more nightmare material.
Confronting the unknown, conquering your fears. There's nothing harder.
What the f?
Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. After a family tragedy, 3 generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River, still haunted by Beetlejuice. Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter Astrid accidentally opens a portal to the afterlife. So yeah, I feel like I'm not the only one, thinking this or saying this, but I feel like Tim Burton has kind of lost it in recent years. You look at all his films like Batman, Edward Scissorhands, the original Beetlejuice. I'm sure I'm forgetting some other films. I would personally include Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, sue me. But you look at these films, and you kind of look to his films now, like Dumbo or Alice in Wonderland. And you look at these films, like, man, it kind of just seems like Tim Burton has gone complacent. He's lost his edge. But after seeing Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, oh man, does he have his edge back. I mean, he really does. I think in terms of the art direction, the cinematography, the overall mise en scène, the humor, the practical special effects, it's so classic Tim Burton. Not only is it classic Tim Burton, but it just feels like Tim Burton all these years was like chained up, enslaved, and they finally released some of his change, and Tim Burton just wanted to scream and yell and let it all out. That's what Beetlejuice 2 feels like. It just feels like after these recent years, it's just Tim Burton just saying, screw it, I'm letting it all out. We're going to go so experimental, so bizarre, screw it. And I love the film for that. If you're a big Tim Burton fan, I think you're really gonna love this film, just for that alone. On top of that, you have Michael Keaton, who I think is great as always as an actor, but he hasn't lost it at all in his performance as Beetlejuice. It just seems so seamless. It didn't feel like he has gone older or he's aged, at least in my opinion. Definitely has the best scenes in the film. A lot of the great humor comes from him, so I definitely give an A+ to that. It was also nice to see Catherine O'Hara again. I feel like I haven't seen her in a while, but I thought she was really good in this film. I feel like the screenwriters gave her a lot to work with in the film. A lot of really funny dialogue, and I think Catherine O'Hara really clearly had fun with that when she was performing in this movie, and I do think she kind of steals some of the show in this film. Sadly, I can't say the same for Winona Ryder or Jenna Ortega in this film. Not that their performances are bad. Their performances are good. I think both are good actresses. But for me, I feel like the script didn't really give them enough substance to work with. And that kind of leads us to the biggest problem I have with this movie for sure. In this film, I feel like the script was so unfocused and messy. It has all these storylines, they're trying to juggle all these pieces and none of them land in a satisfying way. I mean, first you had the story between Lydia and Astrid, who are a mother and daughter relationship. It's strained. They're trying to rekindle after a loss of a loved one. So you have that storyline going on. Then you got, what you see in the trailers, right? Beetlejuice's ex comes back and wants revenge, and this speaks trouble for everybody involved. And then you also have a storyline where Astrid meets a boy, but this boy kind of has like a dark secret. And the problem isn't that like, oh, these are bad ideas. Actually, conceptually, they were all really good ideas in the film. The problem is I wish this movie focused on just one and just stuck with that. But instead, no, all these storylines are just competing fiercely for your attention and emotional investment. And as a result, they all kind of like flounder and you don't really feel invested in any of these storylines. I mean, for example, the storyline with Beetlejuice's ex. She feels like a total non-character in this film as a result. She's kind of introduced in the beginning, kind of the stuff you've seen from the trailers. The deal. And then for the rest of the film, she's kind of nowhere to be seen. And then it just doesn't really end in a really satisfying way. It just seems like she's kind of thrown in at the end just because the writers must have forgotten that she was part of the movie. And the same can be said for the relationship between Lydia and Astrid. There's no real earned cathartic resolution to that conflict. It just seems like, okay, this is fixed now, let's move on. And then what's even more comical is the storyline with the boy that Astrid meets, where once that storyline becomes a problem for the characters, it's just as quickly as resolved. So you kind of go in thinking like, oh, okay, it's gonna be a big part of the story, and no, it doesn't. It's just like, oh, okay, I guess we're done with that too then. And if it weren't for that, I would say like if this movie did have a good script, this would easily be one of Tim Burton's best films, honestly, because everything else in the movie is like top notch, A plus. And you know, if you're a big Beetlejuice fan though, and you're just like, hey, I just want a good fun sequel that reminds me like why I like the original one, you're gonna like this one, and I certainly did too. I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy this. I really had a big stupid smile on my face the whole time, uh, watching Tim Burton back in his groove again. I just really wish the script had been reworked. So as a result, I want to give this film 3.5 stars out of 5. I think it's a fair score.
Where's Beetlejuice?
Where's Beetlejuice?
Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, and also what's your favorite Tim Burton film. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.